Hey guys, Hecon's here with another World of Warcraft video. Welcome back to the weekly series where we take a look at a few mailboxes, talk about WoW gold making, and answer any questions that you guys had for me from last week's video. I did miss making a video last week, so we'll be looking at a mailbox from the past 2 weeks, and talking about some gold making changes that are coming in 8.2. So today we have around 7 pages to get through. You can see on first page it's mostly enchant sales. We did have a nice sale on the Spellbound Specimen Handlers, which is a BOE from, I think, the last raid. I believe it's the 355 one that I sold for 95k. I did pick up a bunch of these for really cheap when the new raid opened, and been able to sell the bracers as well as the hands from the last raid for quite a nice profit. I think I probably paid maybe 20k for these, and I've been able to sell one for 95k, so quintupled my gold. We are getting new enchants in 8.2, so I would start dumping your enchanting materials as well as your enchants. Prices are already coming down on my realm. The ring enchants are going for around 1.4k, up to 1.5k, and then most of the weapon enchants are still going for 1k. So really nice profit there. And then we are also getting new crafted items for the profession, so I would definitely try and dump your 340s as soon as you can. The new crafted items are going to be 370, so it'll probably be a while before the auction house is flooded with those, since we're also getting new materials, but there are a lot of people that are taking a break from raiding right now, so they're like leveling alts and stuff like that, and I've been selling the 340s pretty well. You can see I'm selling weapons for around 6k. This is the one-hander that's crafted with engineering, managed to get 6.4k for that. And then the shanker, which is a dagger which is crafted with blacksmithing, managed to get 6.2k for that. So they're still selling pretty well. But that should change once 8.2 drops and we get the new weapons and new armors, so let's go ahead and loot this and we'll take a look at page 2. So here's page 2, and you can see there's a lot more enchant sales on this page as well, but the prices are a lot higher. The ring enchants were going for between, looks like 2k all the way up to 2.5k a little over a week ago. The weapon enchant sales are a little under 1k, which is about the same as today, but the ring enchants were a lot higher last week than they were this week. I managed to sell a couple of Darkmoon decks as well. Squalls for 12.3, blockades for 11.8, more 340s, Shanker for 2.4, arm guards for 900, and one of the staffs for 17k. As I was saying on the last page, I did manage to sell Bloody Experimenter's wraps. I think that's another BOE from the last raid. I got 95k for that one. Pretty happy about that sale. But yeah, just been dumping all the crafted goods, like the 340s as well as the Darkmoon decks. And then I do have a bunch of enchanting materials on a couple of my tunes, so I've been trying to keep the auction house stocked with the ring enchants as well as the weapon enchants. Trying to get rid of as much as I can before 8.2. Anyways, we'll loot this and take a look at page 3. So here's the next page. You can see it's much of the same, except on this page we have around 310k, which is a little bit more than the past pages. Did sell a bunch of metal treads at 1.2k, satin cloak at 4.7, and a poor alarm for 11.4k. And these are all the 340 items. Sold a couple of Darkmoon deck blockades at 19k each, squalls at 23.7, and managed to get 71.2 for fathoms, which is insane. I might have been the only one up on the auction house, so I threw mine up for around 75 and managed to get one sale before I got undercut. Quite happy about that sale. And we will be getting new trinkets in the next patch, so I've been dumping my Darkmoon decks, and I haven't been shuffling or crafting anymore. Just trying to get rid of my stock and get as much as I can for them. So another staff for 17k. Satin bracers for 3.3, which is nice. Quite a few 340 sales on this page. Shield for 4.2. Gauntlets for 2.7. This Combobulator for 9.4k, which is a really nice sale. And then I did sell one BOE. The Silent Pillagers footpads. Don't remember if it's an LFR or normal version, but managed to get 66.5k for that. A lot more enchant sales. Yeah, just 340s, enchants, and a couple of BOEs here and there. But it's going to put us at a little under 4 million on this character, so I'm going to go ahead and loot this, and we can take a look at the next page. So here's the next page. We have around 150k on this page. They get a nice purchase on some Storm Silver ore. I think I won that by just placing a bid. 116 ore for 1 gold and 16 silver, so pretty much 1 silver each. Some pretty solid 340 sales. Managed to sell the plate greaves of the Peerless for 14.2. Mistras for 19.3. Plate greaves of the Harmonious for 9.9. And then another plate greaves of the Fervor Flare for 14.2, so I do still have my normal price for the crafted gear set at 15k, so if there's none with the same suffix, then it's going to throw it up at 15k, and some of them are more in demand than others, so I do get a couple of sales here and there at 15k, which is awesome. Nothing else too exciting on this page, so I'm going to go ahead and loot it, and we'll take a look at the next page. So here's the next page. You can see I sold quite a few Darkmoon decks on this page. 3 Fathoms sale at 21.4. Squalls at 9.5. Another one at 9.5. And then I also purchased one at 10k. Don't remember why I did that. Maybe there was only one up on the auction house and I wanted to try and reset. I noticed that they were selling pretty fast, because I did sell 2 of them for 9.5, pretty much back to back. And I think on the previous pages I was selling the Squalls for more than 10k, so hopefully the reset was successful. Also picked up some linen at under 2 gold. I think I looted most of that and transferred that to my tailor. I'm just going to sit on it. If I need to make some expulsum, I'll have a bunch of linen that I got for cheap, and we'll end up shuffling it, I guess. I did also pick up a couple of the Swift Spring Shredders, which is the mount from the last holiday event. 4k, which I thought was really low, and I think it's going to be a really good investment since they're already back up to like 25k on my realm. I think I did pick up a third one, but I looted it to have something to throw up on the auction house. I didn't farm these myself on this realm. Just didn't have time, and I think I used most of my chocolates or eggs or whatever we were farming for the new toy. Very nice deck pounder sale, 16k. Another plate greaves at 9.5 on this page. And more ring enchants. Yep, nothing too exciting on this page, so we'll take a look at the next page. So here's the next page. Just enchant sales, Dark Moon decks, and 340s, as well as some BOEs. Probably just gonna skip the next 2 pages, since I think it's gonna be much of the same. But a little under 250,000 gold on this page, which is awesome. Which should put us at 4.5. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna skip the next 2 pages, but show you guys my gold total after I loot the next, looks like 109 mail. So here's the last page. I did save a couple of the sales I wanted to show you guys. They managed to sell a stack of 20 of the feasts for 76k after the auction house cut, so it was listed for 80k or 4k per feast. I did try and sell a stack of 20 for 100k, but no one was biting, so I lowered my price down to 80 and managed to get 1 sale. Pretty awesome. And you can see I sold a bunch of Dark Moon decks. Tides for 14.2, blockades for 14.2, and then a couple of items at 30.8, squalls at 13.2. And you can see some pretty insane enchant sales on this page. Critical Strike Ring Enchant. I managed to get 7.1k. My normal price on these is at 7.5, I believe, so there's none up on the auction house. It'll post at 7.5, and managed to capture a couple of sales at that price. Pretty happy about that. You can see a bunch of others going for 2.5k. Mastery's at 2.5 as well. More crit at 3.4. So someone must have undercut by like 50%, so ended up going for 7.5 to 3.4 in less than a day. Still pretty happy about these sales at 3.4k. That makes them really profitable. And just insane at 7.5. So really happy about these 2 sales at 7.1. And a couple more 340s as well on this page. A waist guard for 2.1. Treads for 2.8. And these staffs are really amazing still. I managed to sell one for 18k. And then a gauntlets for 2.8. So there's 324k on this page, which should put us at around 4.8 million. I think I started with a little over 3.2, so I managed to get around, I guess that would be like 1.6 million gold. But it's almost after like a month's worth of auction, so the gold gains have definitely slowed down. But hopefully it'll pick back up with 8.2. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at what questions you guys had for me from the last video. The first question this week comes from Matt Brown, who asked, I have several realms that I play on. One, Illidan, has 9 tunes. I run all my excess mets and BOEs through my main to the auction house. I have now done the same on a second realm, Anderhall. 4 tunes there, one at 115. Should I use different tunes to post different types of items, or stick with one as the auction house / bank tune? Any insight is greatly appreciated. So I flip on a bunch of different realms where I only have 1 tune, usually a level 1. So on those I can stick to 1 banker. However, on my main realms, I'll have multiple bankers, even on different accounts. That way I can post on those while I'm playing on my main account. As an example, the tunes that I use for selling high velocity items like enchants, consumables, and even like current expansion BOEs, those will be on my main auction house account. That way I can undercut and relist while I'm playing on my main, in a raid, anytime my main account's tied up, I guess. Slower to sell items like BOEs, from previous expansions, transmog, and like other items. Those can be on a banker on my main account, as I log on to those probably like once every 3 to 4 days to relist. And then if you're doing a lot of crafted items and using TSM to restock, it's probably easier to list on the character that's doing the crafting. So as an example, with my inscriptionists or scribes, I'm using TSM to restock the glyphs. So I just do the postings for the glyphs on the scribe. That way, when anything sells, I can just do the restock on that tune and have a certain amount up on the auction house at any given time. That's what I found to be probably the most efficient in terms of gold making for what I'm doing. If you're doing 2 realms, it might be easier just to do 1 or 2 bankers, but even on my main realms, I probably have between like 4 to 6 bankers doing different things. Really depends on how active you are in the auction house and like what type of items you're selling, so probably varies case to case, but I would probably recommend splitting it up between different characters. The next question comes from 42nd Onion, who asked, I appreciate you answering my questions. It's given me some great insight. Now I have a new problem. I've been making a lot of my gold from Darkmoon decks and Sinister gear, but someone has destroyed the Darkmoon deck market by undercutting by half. Saw blockades for 30k now goes for 9k. I don't have the gold to reset them, and it's getting close to the point where selling them will lose me money. What should I do about this? So I would try and dump the 340 Sinister gear and Darkmoon decks ASAP before the new patch drops. You might be safer sitting on the Darkmoon decks, since some may opt to buy an old Darkmoon deck plus a new trinket for gearing ults. However, if you can, I would sell the Darkmoon decks now, even at like a small per unit loss. Let's say you've been able to sell Darkmoon decks in the past for 30k, and your crafting cost is 10k. That means you were making 20k profit per deck. Now if you're selling at 9k, you're only losing 1k, but you're also recouping 90% of your sunk cost, which is your 10k crafting, and that is much better than, say, selling the Darkmoon deck a month from now for like 5k. However, if you're okay sitting on your decks and see if the prices rebound a bit, maybe people are just panic selling right now, and your auction house has some excess supply, then I would say go for it. The next question comes from Dag, who asked, the deflation problem does hit the average player though, right? I agree that purchasing power is not affected much on the auction house, but the gold costs from NPCs are even higher than they were in Legion, even though our incomes in game are much lower. For example, mounts are extremely expensive, with 3 colored faction griffins costing 90k. This leaves the average player, for which 90k is still a huge amount of gold, in a much worse spot economically. I'd agree that the deflation problem definitely hits the average player harder. However, I don't think the cost of a mount is a good example, as it's purely cosmetic and a luxury item. The average player definitely is getting less nominal gold without having access to lucrative Order Hall gold missions or Treasure Hunter from the Walled Garrison. However, the devs have stressed that the average player should still be able to make enough to cover the cost of necessities, such as raid and dungeon consumables, enchants for their items, the 2 reroll tokens each week, and the like. As an average player, you definitely have to go above and beyond to make that extra 90k for items such as like a mount, or may even have to buy a token for cash and convert that into gold. But to me, that seems like a much better system than letting every player make insane amounts of gold without much effort and inflating gold even further. The last question this week comes from Christina Parks, who asked, have you thought about making a step-by-step guide for beginners who want to make gold? I think that would be awesome. I'm actually in the process of making a guide where I start fresh on a new realm and work up from having nothing to 1 million gold. I do already have a realm picked out, and I will be boosting 1 toon on that realm, as everyone gets 1 boost with BFA, and then I'll be documenting what I do to make that gold and sharing any gold making strats. As I said, it is still in the works, and I plan to work on it between now and 8.2, since my guild's mostly done with BOD and Crucible progression. Those are all the questions from the last video. Thank you to anyone that left me a question in the comments of the last video. Remember that if you want to ask me anything, you can leave them in the comments of this video, and they may get answered and featured in the next video that I make. That's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, a huge shout out to my supporters on Patreon. Hope you guys all have a great week, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Late.